H. Archana. I am working as a biological science CRT in KGBV Rasupalam, Gunturu district. Okay children, today we are going to discuss about the excretion lesson.
Children, write down the topics which are included and which are deleted from this chapter. In this video, we are going to learn about the introduction about excretion, excretion in human beings, lab activity, internal structure of kidney, structure of nephron, mechanism of urine formation, dialysis, kidney transplantation, and excretion and release of substances in plants.
Children, in factories, houses and so many organizations, so many activities are going on in everyday life. By the end of that activities, so many waste products are produced. They are shifted out from that place. In the same way, in our body, so many activities are running out every minute. By the end of that activities, so many waste products are produced. So these waste products are shifted out from our body. For this purpose, a special phenomena is planned in our body, that is excretion. So children, we are going to learn about the excretion and the wastage disposing system. The wastage disposing system. So this lesson belongs to 10th class biology. So the waste disposing system. Excretion. Excretion is a Latin word. It is a Latin word. In this, X means out and greenery means shifted. So X means out and greenery means shifted. So the waste products are shifted out from our body is called excretion. Okay children? Okay. Then in our body, so many activities are running out. They are anabolic activities and catabolic activities. Catabolic activities. So anabolic activities are for the build-up and the catabolic activities are breaking down. So for example, the photosynthesis. Photosynthesis. Breaking down activities or respiration, circulation, etc. So these are the activities which are running in our body. So these both activities are combinedly and commonly called as metabolic activities. Metabolic activities. So these metabolic activities are produced. For example, photosynthesis unwanted materials are CO2, O2, H2O, etc. In the respiration or circulation or whatever else, the waste products are ammonia, urea, uric acid, etc. These are the waste products. When these waste products are stored in our body, they are turned into toxic materials. They are very harmful for our body. That's why these harmful materials definitely should be shifted from our body.
Now, let us study how excretion takes place in human beings. For this purpose, we have a specific system, that is the excretory system. It consisting of a pair of kidneys, a pair of ureters, one bladder, one urethra, and the urethra meatus. These are the main parts which are present in a human urinary system.
So children, now I am going to draw a human excretory system. You can draw in your notebooks also. In this, we observe the one pair of kidneys. So these are the kidneys. Children, not kidneys. These are the kidneys. So here we can observe the bean-shaped structure. Okay, children. So these are the bean-shaped structures. Here we can observe a cap-like structure upper side of the kidneys, both kidneys. It is called adrenal gland, and here we can saw the tube-like structure. It is the renal artery. Renal artery. It is open into the both kidneys like this way. So it is carry the oxygenated blood with nitrogen wastage. Then again another structure we can observe here. So this is the renal vein. It is carried the deoxygenated blood to the heart. So it is also opened into the kidneys. So both kidneys, it is also opened. Closed like this way. Then we can observe another tube-like structures from the hilus of the kidney. This is the hilus of the kidney. So from this, a tube-like structures or come outside. A tube-like structures are come outside. So from this kidney also tube-like structures are come. Opened into the sac-like structure called urinary bladder. Sac-like structure called urinary bladder. So urinary bladder stores the urine. Label the parts of human excretory system. So children, observe, this is my left side and this is the right side. That's why it is right kidney. It is right kidney and this is the left kidney. This is the left kidney. Here a cap-like structure we can observe, that is adrenal gland. Adrenal gland. So the pink color tube structure is called as renal artery, and the black structure is called renal vein. Okay children, then one pair of tubes are come out from both kidneys. These are called ureters. Ureters. These ureters open into a sac-like structure that is called urinary bladder. Urinary bladder. And the urinary bladder has a small tube-like opening. It is called urethra. So the urethra opening from the external opening. External opening. Here, this tube also called hymen. Children, I want to ask one question. Why the right kidney is little bit of lower than the left kidney? So you can observe here in this picture, the right kidney is little bit of lower. So lower side of the left kidney. Why? What is the reason? Okay, I am going to reveal the answer. So here we can observe the human body. So this is the total human body. Here we can observe the digestive part of the body also. So here right side of the body one part is present, that is liver. So the liver is present in the right side of the body. That's why the right kidney is placed little lower than the left kidney. So the presence of liver, the right kidney is little bit lower than the left kidney. So that is the reason.
Now let us discuss about each part clearly. The first one is kidneys. The location of the kidneys are in the abdominal cavity attached to dorsal body wall, one on either side of the backbone.
So children, I am going to tell about the structure of kidneys. So here we can see the model of kidney. So it is a bean-like structure. It is a bean-like structure. When we observe the kidneys, the length of the kidney. So this is the bean-shaped kidneys. So bean-shaped kidney. So the length of the kidney. So this is the length. So the length of the kidney is 10 centimeters and the width of the kidney. So this is the width of the kidney. So this is 5 to 6 centimeters and the thickness of the kidney, that is the thickness. So thickness of the kidney. Thickness of the kidney, that is the 4 centimeters. So these are the measurements of the human kidney.
Coming to the lab activity. To study the internal structure of the kidney, we have to collect the fresh specimen of a goat kidney. The materials are required: freshly collected goat kidney, sharp blade, a dissection tray and a mug of water. Now coming to the procedure, first wash the kidney thoroughly so that blood is completely drained from it. Put the kidney in the tray and observe it carefully. The shape of kidney is bean, the color of kidney is reddish brown, and 3 tubes are attached to the kidneys. With the help of the sharp blade, take the longitudinal section of the kidney. The dark colored outer zone in the section of kidney is called cortex. Pale inner zone in a kidney is called medulla. So here we can observe the cortex of the kidney. It is a dark red colored, and the medulla of the kidney. It is the pale colored. Coming to the section cutting of the kidney, here we can observe the long section of the kidney. This is LS of kidney. When we cut like this way, the kidney opened like this way. So children, can you observe the color of the kidney? So outside the color of the kidney is brown, and inner side of the kidney is looks like a red in color. So the total kidney color is brownish red. So coming to the internal structure of LS of kidney, we can observe so many parts. So here the upper side of the kidney, we can observe the cap-like structure, that is called adrenal gland. The blue color blood tube is called renal vein, and the red color blood tube is called renal artery. Here we can observe the cortex and medulla. The medulla is divided into multiple cone-shaped masses of tissue called renal pyramids. The apex of each pyramid is called papillae. The renal pyramids are separated by the projections of the cortex called columns of Bertin or renal column. Renal papilla project into cup-like calyces formed by the funnel-shaped pelvis, which continues as the ureter. Each kidney is surrounded by tough fibrous layer called renal capsule that protects the inner delicate parts of the kidney. The kidney is composed of an enormous number of minute tubules called renal tubules or nephrons, or uriniferous tubules, or just called kidney tubules. Nephrons are the structural and functional units of the kidney. Here we can observe the lines. These are called as nephrons. The nephron is the structural and functional unit of the kidney. So, children, come to know about the structure of nephron with the help of a drawing. Children, this drawing is very important for the examination purpose. So, please try to draw in your notebooks along with me. Children, in your textbook, this drawing is very difficult to draw. So, that structure is very clumsy. So, this is the way how to draw easily of the nephron structure. So, it makes you very comfort. So, please draw in your notebooks, children. So nephron has two parts. The first one is nephron. Parts. So the first one is Malpighian body.
and the second one is renal tubule. So these two parts are present mainly in the nephron structure. So the Malpighian body again divided into two types. The first one is Bowman's capsule. Bowman's capsule. And the second one is glomerulus. Glomerulus. And the renal tubule is divided into three parts. So the first one is PCT. The second one is loop of Henle, and the third one is DCT. So children, now coming to observe in this diagram these parts. So the cup-shaped structure, this is called Bowman capsule. Bowman's capsule. In Bowman capsule, a tube-like structure comes from the outside and it is formed just like a net-like structure, and it will come back to the outside like a tube. So here you can observe net-like structure. It is blood capillaries, and these blood capillaries formed glomerulus. Glomerulus. So these both are combinedly called Malpighian body. Malpighian body. In Malpighian body, one blood capillary come to outside. This is called efferent arteriole. The efferent arteriole formed the blood capillaries net-like structure and comes out as a efferent arteriole. Efferent arteriole. Efferent arteriole. So children, here you can observe the diameter of the efferent arteriole is more than the efferent arteriole. Why? Why? Because the filtration of blood occurs in the glomerulus. That's the reason the afferent arteriole diameter is more than the efferent arteriole. For that, the pressure is occurred in the glomerulus. The blood filtration is occurred in the glomerulus. That's the reason the afferent arteriole and efferent arteriole diameters are different. So the afferent arteriole come and formed tube-like structures. And formed the complete net-like structure. This is called capillary network. So this is called capillary network. Capillary network. So nephron has two parts. The first one is Malpighian body. So Malpighian body have two parts, Bowman's capsule and glomerulus. Here we can observe the Bowman's capsule, the cup-shaped structure, and the glomerulus, the net-like structure. These both are combinedly formed Malphizian body, and the afferent arterioles are we can observe in this drawing, and afferent arteriole just like net-like structure, it formed a total nephron, and it is the capillary network. And the next part is renal tubule. So renal tubule is divided into three parts. The first one is first or proximal convoluted tubule. Here we can observe this. So this is the PCT. So first or proximal convoluted tubule. Then it forms U-shaped structure. It is called loop of Henle. Loop of Henle, and this is finally formed DCT. So DCT, distinct convoluted tubule. PCT, loop of Henle, and DCT. These three parts are belongs to the renal tubule. And finally, the DCT entered into the collecting duct. So this is collecting duct. So this is the total structure of the nephron.
Children, the coming video will explain about the urine formation in human beings. Urine is formed in the Bowman's capsule, and urine formation involves three main processes. First one is glomerular filtration, second one is reabsorption, and the third one is secretion. These three steps takes place in different parts of the nephron. Filtration is carried by glomerulus and is called glomerular filtration. The glomerular capillary blood pressure causes filtration of blood through three layers. The first one is endothelium of glomerular blood vessels. Second one is epithelium of Bowman's capsule, and the third one is basement membrane between these two layers. The epithelial cells of Bowman's capsule called podocytes, one arranged in an intricate manner so as to leave some minute spaces called slit pores. When the blood flows through the capillaries in the glomerulus, it gets filtered through the pores in the walls of the capillaries. All the water-soluble small molecular weight substances such as salts, glucose, amino acids, along with the nitrogenous wastes are filtered from blood. Blood cells and proteins are not filtered through the pores present in the capillary walls. This filtration is called ultrafiltration. On an average, 1100 to 1200 ml of blood is filtered by the kidneys per minute. Approximately 120 ml of urine is formed in the kidney per minute. In 24, 175 liters of urine is formed. However, all this is not excreted. Only 1 or 2 liters of urine is excreted, and the rest of it is reabsorbed into the body. The amount of filtrate formed by the kidneys per minute is called glomerular filtration rate, that is GFR. GFR in a healthy individual is approximately 125 ml per minute, that is 180 milliliters per day. The kidneys have built-in mechanism for the regulation of glomerular filtration rate. One such efficient mechanism is carried out by juxtaglomerular apparatus, that is JGA. It is a special sensitive region formed by cellular modifications in the distal convoluted tubule and the afferent arteriole at the location of their contact. A fall in GFR can activate the JG cells to renin, which can stimulate the glomerular blood flow and thereby the GFR. Secretion. During urine formation, the tubular pool secretes substances like H+, K+, and ammonia into the filtrate. Tubular secretion is also an important step in urine formation as it helps in the maintenance of ionic and acid-base balance of body fluids. The comparison of the volume of the filtrate formed per day 180 ml per day so that of urine released 1.5 liters suggests that 99% of filtrate has to be reabsorbed by the renal tubules. This process is called reabsorption. The reabsorption of the urine produced by Bowman's capsule takes place in the tubular portion. When the filtrate reaches the proximal convoluted tubule, the epithelial cells of the tubule reabsorb several substances in a selective manner and transport them back to blood. They perform this either by passive or active mechanism. Example: glucose, amino acids, sodium, etc. in the filtrate are reabsorbed actively, whereas nitrogenous wastes are absorbed by passive transport. Reabsorption of water also occurs passively in the initial segments of the nephron in loop of Henle and in distal convoluted tubule. Unabsorbed substances along with water enter the collecting duct which discharges urine into pelvis and then into ureter. Urine is produced continuously and is concentrated continuously. This reaches pelvis and is excreted. Smooth muscles, that are involuntary muscles in the wall of ureter, produce peristaltic movements which propose urine into the urinary bladder. The urinary bladder is a muscular sac and opens to the outside through urethra. At the junction of bladder and urethra is a sphincter. Urination is a reflex action, but in elders it is voluntary. In children, urination is an involuntary action. Normally, when about 200 to 300 ml of urine reaches the bladder, the muscles in its wall contract and relax, expelling urine. Children, tell me, if you drink more water, will you pass more urine? Yes, children, when we drink more water, we passed out more urine. Now, let us discuss remaining parts of excretory system. The ureters. Ureters, a pair of whitish tubes. These are 10 to 12 inches long, arises from hilus of the kidney, and these are carries urine from the kidney to the urinary bladder. The next excretory part is bladder. It is a pear-shaped and distensible sac-like structure. It stores urine brought by two ureters. The storage capacity of urinary bladder is 300 to 800 ml. The last excretory part is urethra tube. It is a tube that takes urine from urinary bladder to outside. Urethra is 4 centimeters long in females and 20 centimeters long in males. Its opening is separate in females, but it is common in the reproductive tract of males, so that it is called vestibule. So, urine and semen will never pass at the same time through the male's urethra. So, what is urine? The urine is the waste product that the urinary system is responsible for eliminating from the body. In urine, 95% of water and other 5% is made up of urea, uric acid, creatinine, mineral salts, various pigments and sugars. It is called the composition of urine. Why the urine is in yellow color? The answer is urine has amber color due to the presence of urochrome. It is a pigment which gives color to the urine, that is yellowish color. Children, tell me what happens if both kidneys fail completely. So let me say the answer is the complete and irreversible kidney failure is called ESRD, that is end stage renal disease. If kidneys stop working completely, our body filled with extra water and waste products. This condition is called uremia. Is there any solution to this problem, children? Yes, the solution is the artificial kidney. Let us know about the artificial kidney, that is dialysis. The upcoming video explains the complete phenomena of the dialysis. Kidneys are one of the vital organs for the survival. Filtration of urine artificially other than by kidney is called hemodialysis. In abnormal or ill health conditions like infections, injury or restricted blood flow to kidneys will reduce the functions of kidney. This leads to accumulation of poisonous or toxic wastes in the body, sometimes which can even lead to death. In case of kidney failure, an artificial kidney can be used. An artificial kidney is a device which is used to remove nitrogenous waste products from the blood through the process called dialysis. In this process, the first one is artificial kidneys contain a number of tubes with a semi-permeable lining suspended in a tank filled with a dialyzing fluid. 2. This fluid has the same osmotic pressure as blood except that it is lack of nitrogenous wastes. One line connected to the artery is connected to the one end of dialysis device where the blood is collected from patient for filtration. During this passage, the waste products from the blood pass into dialyzing fluid by diffusion. The purified blood is pumped back into the vein of the patient which is connected to other end of the dialysis device. This is similar to the function of the kidney, but it is different since there is no reabsorption involved. Normally, in a healthy adult, the intake filter in the kidneys is about 180 liters daily. However, the volume actually excreted is only a liter of 2 a day because the remaining filtrate is reabsorbed in the kidney tubules. The dialysis process lasts up to 3 to 6 hours. It is a temporary solution for uremic or kidney failure patients all over the world. Children, is there any long-term or permanent solution for kidney failure patients? Yes, that is kidney transplantation. Now, coming to know about the kidney transplantation. Kidney transplantation is a surgical procedure performed to replace a diseased kidney with a healthy kidney from another person. A functioning kidney must be transplanted from a donor, whether from a deceased organ donor or from a living donor, especially relatives. This type of transplantation is called a living transplantation. The kidney that is transplanted must be a good match to the patient body in order to minimize the chances of rejection of transplanted kidney. Individuals who donate a kidney can live healthy life with the remaining single kidney. Generally, a patient receives only one kidney, but in rare cases, he or she may receive 2 kidneys from a deceased donor. In most cases, during the process of transplantation, the deceased kidneys are left in the same place where the transplanted kidney is fixed in the lower abdomen in the front side of the body. Nowadays, the process of organ donation is aiding lot of kidney failure patients. These organs are generally collected from brain dead patients and transplanted to the patients or recipients. Let us learn more about organ donation with the help of a case study. There are many people who are in need of suitable organ due to the failure of their important organs and waiting for the donors. When consider kidney transplantation hospitals in Hyderabad, a minimum of 25 patients per hospital are waiting for the kidney donors. In our state, daily 10 to 100 people met with accidents, out of which some people get brain dead. If we collect organs from these brain dead people, then we can save the lives of minimum 5 people. But due to the lack of awareness, the organ donors and acceptors do not get proper information from medicinal personnel, that is from both the government and private hospitals. If they inform within proper time, then it will be very useful to the patients who are in need of an organ. In Hyderabad, this organ transplantation facility is available only in 2 government hospitals. They are NIMS and Usmania, and in more than 10 private hospitals. Other organs like cornea and transplant organs like kidney, liver, heart, lungs, pancreas, skin, bone, intestine and eye can be transplanted from brain dead patients. The process of transplantation of organs from brain dead patients to living patients is called cadaver transplantation. If any person is willing to donate organs or accept organs, should register their names in transplantation facility hospitals. Some voluntary organizations are also working for this. So, if you want to donate an organ, collect information about voluntary organization and make a report on them. Society needs much awareness in organ donation and acceptance so that we can save many lives who are in need of organs. Instead of living in their memories, let us make them live in others for one more life. Case study: we can live even after death. An 18-year-old young man named H.S. Yashwant Kumar donated his 5 organs when he met with an accident on June 15th. When he was taken to Nizam Institute of Medical Sciences, the neurosurgeons at NIMS declared him as a brain dead. Jeevandan organization counselors obtained an approval from Mr. H.S. Shiva, the father of Yashwant Kumar. He agreed to donate his son's kidneys, pair of heart valves and liver. So children, I am going to ask one question again. So like animals, plants also can do excretion. Okay, so let us observe. When touch the leaf, it getting some smell. So let us come to know about the excretion of plants. So our topic is excretion in plants. Plants. So obviously, like animals, plants also can do excretion. So already we know that the plants get rid waste materials like excess water through transpiration and guttation, and maybe the waste materials are stored in plant bodies like leaves, bark, fruits, etc. The biochemical substances are produced in plants are of 2 types. They are, the first one is primary metabolites and the second one is secondary metabolites. Secondary metabolites. So the substances which produced in plants.
products are required for growth and development of the plants. So that substances are called primary metabolites. So as we know that the example is carbohydrates, proteins and fats. So these are required for their growth and development. The plants can use for their own. So the next one is secondary metabolites. So these substances do not require for the growth and development. So do not require growth and development. So these materials sometimes they can use their own plants. So sometimes they are not required for the growth and development. They can use for other phenomena. So these are example is alkaloids, tannins, resins, gums and latex. So these are the secondary metabolites which produced in
Plants produce these chemical for their own use, but the man found the usage of these chemicals for own benefits. They are generally colored and fragrant. Children just come to know in detail about these secondary metabolites. The first one is alkaloids. These are nitrogenous byproducts and poisonous. These are stored in different parts of the plants. They are, the first one is bark, second one is leaves, and the third one is root, the fourth one is seeds, the fifth one is fruit, and the final part is the flower. The table shows the common alkaloids which are present in plants and their uses. So children, I am going to explain one by one clearly. The first one is Papaver somniferum. The alkaloid present in this plant are morphine and cocaine. These are produced from the fruit part of the plant. It is used as a painkiller. Next one is Coffea arabica. It is commonly called as coffee plant. The alkaloid is present in this plant is caffeine. Caffeine is produced from the seeds of the plant. It is used as the central nervous system stimulant. So students, the another example of alkaloids are, here we can see the flowers. These are commonly called as Gaddi Chemanti, but the scientific name of this flower is Tridacus procumbens. So the name of the alkaloid is pyrethroids. It is used as the insecticide. So children, just as we know about Tridacus, the pyrethroid alkaloid is present in the flower of this plant. It is used as the insecticide. This is the neem plant. It is an example for the alkaloids. This scientific name is Azadirachta indica. In commonly we called as a neem plant. It has a alkaloids. So here we can observe the total plant of the neem. So these leaves and seeds and also bark is useful for the
preparing of alkaloid from this plant. The nimbin and alkaloid is coming. So nimbin is used as a antiseptic alkaloid. So it is very useful for our day-to-day life.
The next plant is Datura stramonium, is commonly called umetta. The scopolamine alkaloid is prepared from the part of fruit and flower. This alkaloid is used as sedative purpose. The next plant is Rauwolfia serpentina. It is a snake root plant. The alkaloid name is reserpin, which produced from this plant. From the part of root, this alkaloid is produced. It is used as medicine for snake bite. The next one is Nicotiana tabacum. It is commonly called tobacco. The alkaloid produced from this plant is nicotine. It is derived from the part of leaves of this plant. It is used as the insecticide. The next plant is Cinchona officinalis. The alkaloid present in this plant is quinine. It is used for the anti-malarial drug, and it is prepared from the bark part of the plant.
So children, do you know about the Parthenium plant? It is a very dangerous plant. So here we can observe the Parthenium plants. So these are the Parthenium plants. The common name of these plants are Vayyaribhama. These are occupying in our surroundings. These are very dangerous, and nitrogenous wastes are produced from these plants. So give allergies and respiratory tract diseases also. So pollen grains added to the air will be polluted, and these are through air we can respire into our body. So these are nitrogenous wastes caused cancers, allergies and asthma also. So these are very dangerous. When we saw these type of plants in our surroundings, we smash these plants. So don't go the near of these plants. These are very dangerous for our health. So children, keep in your minds and follow the safety rules.
The second type of secondary metabolites are tannins. Tannins are carbon compounds. These are stored in different parts of the plant and are deep brown in color. Tannins are used in tanning of leather and in medicines. Example, cassia, acacia, etc. Third type are resins. Resins are secrete their protective benefits in responsible to injury. The resin protects the plant from insects and pathogens. Example, pinus. These are used in varnishes, liquid coating materials, etc. The fourth type are gums. Plants like neem, acacia oozes out a sticky substances called gum when branches are cut. The gum swells by absorbing water and helps in healing of damaged parts of a plant. Gums are economically valuable and used as adhesive and binding agents in the preparation of the medicines. The last one is latex. Latex is a sticky, milky, white substance secreted by the plants. Latex is stored in latex cells or latex vessels. From the latex of Hevea braziliensis is commonly called rubber plant. Rubber is prepared. Latex from Jatropha is source of biodiesel. The seeds of Jatropha are used in production of biodiesel.
I am going to explain the example of latex. So come and see this plant. So this is the
Jilledu plant. Here we can see the total plant body and flowers, buds also. So it is the best example for the latex.
So children, observe carefully. I am going to pluck the part of the plant, that is the little branch of this plant. So students, observe keenly. When pluck the branch of this plant, the white color substance is coming from this plant. So it is looks like a milk. When we touch it with our finger, it is sticky in nature. So the milky sticky substance is called latex, as we know that. So this is the best example for the latex. So children, I am going to pluck another part of this plant, that is the leaf. So I pluck the leaf. Oh my god, here also the milk substance is coming. So the total body of this plant gives milky substances, milky and sticky substances. So these are called latex. So children, this plant is very dangerous. So when we touch this plant, we must clean our hands definitely. And last but not the least, the excretion versus secretion. Excretion is the removal of materials from a living beings, while secretion is removement of materials from one point to other point. In human beings, excrete materials such as tears, urine, carbon dioxide, etc. And the secretion materials are enzymes, hormones and saliva. In plants too, the excretion through roots and falling of leaves and bark. The secretion materials are plant body in form of latex, resin, gums, etc. How do you feel to watch this video? Do you understand everything, every concept? If you have any doubts, go and repeat the video, and again you can see the video. Then you will get the doubts clarification. And are you following the precautions to overcome the COVID-19 disease? So the upcoming days are very dangerous for the COVID-19. The third wave is also coming. So wear mask and use sanitizer at any time. Handle with you at any time, and don't come outside without mask and without sanitizer. Be safe, be healthy, be happy. Thank you. Thanks to everyone for watching this video.